the shift. We're gonna do this.
Let's do it. Boom.
We shall do it, and it shall be done. Henceforth,
Yes, Mr.
that's me. Um, Mr. Abracadabra. What's the other one? No one L. No one. I'm no one. Abracadabra for you. Sir.
Abracadabra.
And this is Shift Hit the Fan. Abracadabra, because my word creates as I speak, and that's a reminder.
Yeah.
Um, Here's what we got for you today. Did we already say Shift Hit the Fan? Yeah, I said it.
Yep. Welcome to Shift Hit the Fan. Y'all are the
Welcome.
fan. We're the shift. Be shifted.
We're about to shift you with all these swords.
Oh my goodness, swords.
So many swords. 10 of them here.
Ten of swords. Stabbed in the back. You're dead on the ground.
And here's an extra one, just in case that wasn't enough.
The ace of swords.
The Ace of Swords, the hidden energy.
This magical hand. It literally is a hidden energy. Magical hand popping out of the clouds, holding the sword, crown up above.
Yeah. And then the light's trying to hide it as I'm trying to show it to you. Yeah.
Saying, let there be light.
Yes, let me illuminate this for you.
There's so much to say about these cards.
Yeah. Especially together.
Yeah.
You want to kick us off?
I don't know that I'll stop, so I kind of want to hear you say something first.
All right. Well, yeah, we've been going on for a little bit about these our experiences that are totally aligned with all this stuff. Elias was talking about stick work and because I was like, I just think of your stick work when I look at this and the story that you told on TikTok or Instagram. I don't remember which one. But
No, I
this
didn't put it on Instagram. It was just it's TikTok.
that must have been TikTok, yeah. And then my own experience of just all these my body basically disappearing. That's one of the things that popped into my head is like, hey, remember that time you were in bed laying like this and you had like my experience was that my my body disappeared. It felt like that, but the symptoms still um existed, like they existed on their own and I could feel them. I just couldn't feel the rest of my body. So that's sort of what came to mind is like, all of these little individual stories that exist on their own. And with this dead body, I'm sure he doesn't feel anything, right? They're just all stuck there. um, or when you're in this state, you are now identified with this story here. All of these, all of these things that you've said that you've created each of them have their life of their own. Um, and so that's what I was reminded of is that experience. And so I'm looking at maybe this is the clarification of what was happening with my body because now I experience the symptoms as their own being, as their own identity, that they're separate from the body. They're not of the body. They just they're a collection of stories. And my job is to get to know each of these stories, why they were created, why they exist, why they're stabbing me, basically. Why do I experience them in my body the way that I do? Um and then the hidden being, I'll put it upside down. Um Sort of like um it's running in the background. This was the beginning of all of this. It was like the beginning of all of these stories, and this is the completion of all of the stories. That something's about to, I mean, something has shifted now. It's whatever has happened is now complete. Whatever started is complete now. But these were a gift. Uh, they were a gift, and it's going to be pointed out that it's a gift. This is going to tell me the point of the gift and what I've been creating with all of these stories, the experience that I've been creating with all these stories. I've been having conversations with Brian after this, Brian the Brain, my little dictator, uh, because uh, because our relationship is not a co-creation, and I had to be really direct with him and let him know that he's my dictator, that I want to co-create, and um, so I wonder, that to me tells me that whatever I'm going through is a gift. Yeah, that's what I got. Now you go on with your thing.
Love it. Man, where to begin? All right, I think this is. I don't know. This is really cool. I love that you're telling this about stories. Like the swords in the back are your stories. They're pinning you down and keeping you stuck into where you are, kind of sucking sucking the life out of you in a lot of ways. Um, and I love that this is stick work. Like this is what I do. And in stick work, for if anybody doesn't know what that is, nobody knows what that is. We'll just go with that. But stick work is where it's this Russian martial art. Um, it's a somatic body work where we're using sticks and objects to work out knots and tension that's in the body, helping someone relieve the fear that they're holding on to, and creating more energy through the body. And so usually we're gliding through the body with the sticks. We're doing pressure points, acupressure with the sticks. And so these swords being stabbed from the sky is like perfectly, dude, you're being stabbed with sticks right here, and you are letting go of all of the fear that you have in your body. And and so what I love about this is I just had this amazing experience with this training seminar that I just got back from. And in the seminar, I'm working through, I'm getting a lot of this stick work done on me. And at the very last session, I have someone who's been considered level 3 certified. She's really tapped into herself, can really tap into other people. And so she's digging into me. And there's a specific area in my gut that she's pushing on, and I'm writhing all over the place. I have this voice in my head screaming, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. But really, I really wanted to go there. And I needed someone to hold me in that place so that I could feel that emotion that was in me. But then she lets off it, and my body just relaxes and like it dies, like it just splats on the ground. And that feeling disappears. Like it just type of thing. And you're like, oh, it was gone. It was kind of sad about it. But at the same time, it was very telling. And she told me at that time, you have to choose to go into that place. That's a place that you have to choose for yourself. And I was like, oh, okay. But later on, I was talking to another one of the guys there who's a ballroom dancer. And so he's got this beautiful connection to his own body and a connection to his partner that he's always working with. And and so I was just talking to him about what had happened with the stick work, and I showed him this feeling of relax. He's like, "Well, what's it look like when you relax?" And I just flop on the ground. This is me relaxed, and I basically just look like a dead body. And it's like, dude, your whole body just disconnected from itself. And I'm like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I'm just not. I get rid of that pain so quickly by disassociating, by getting just disappearing. Like my body just turns into a million pieces, disappears, doesn't exist. And I do this with like TV shows and movies and that type of stuff. It is amazing that I can be sick, like on my deathbed sick, and I'll go watch a TV show and it'll disappear. Like all the symptoms are gone. Um, and that's the kind of relaxation that I was feeling here. It's just like things were just disappearing and going away. And I wasn't sitting with that feeling. And so he takes my hand and he's like, all right, you remember the connections that we were having earlier. And so we touch each other's hand and we're connecting, we're flowing with each other, just with just that light touch. And I'm still on the ground at this point, but we're just moving our hands back and forth. I'm following him, we're staying connected. And we take both hands, we're following. He says, all right, you're connected to me. Now take that connection and be in your body. Connect to your body. And he's watching me, watching the connection and telling me, like, nope, nope, don't, that's disassociating again. You're disconnecting. And he's helping me really tap in. And then I feel that connection in my body. And it's such a weird connection for me because for me, it almost felt like I was tense. Like it felt like so much energy was rushing through my body that I was I was tense is what it felt like. I felt like this heavy bar just laid on the ground. But when I kept playing with it in my body, there wasn't any tension. It just felt full. Like I felt like if you just had a big arm pump from an exercise or something, your arm's feeling huge. And you're like, yeah, I'm feeling jacked right now. Like that's what it felt like through my whole body, but it was just energy. And I felt dense and heavy. I just felt like this rock sitting on the ground. And there was no tension inside of me. It was like aliveness. And and it was such a beautiful experience. And so when I look at all these swords, and I've been playing with this ever since. So later I got another stick work session, and this dude is stabbing me with like this freaking sharp stick. Like it's itty bitty, it's porcelain, and it's going into me all in all these different places. And half the time while he's doing this, I'm not trying to escape. Like I know how to handle the pain, but my whole body is just writhing through like all over the place, like like trying to get rid of the stuff that's inside of me. And then he keeps going to these different points. He gets to my right foot and he stabs it in there. And I remember that feeling of connection. And suddenly my whole body stops writhing. And I feel that sensation through my whole body. And I get this moment where I'm dancing with the stick inside of my foot. He's pushing in there and it's going deeper and deeper and deeper. My whole body's relaxed. And I'm like playing with that sensation in my foot. And it was the most beautiful experience that I think I've ever had. And then here comes this hidden energy that I love. I haven't even shared this story with you yet. After all that, he says, you have a big sword. You are a big force in this world. And you have to be careful with what you take and how you use that force and how you use that sword. And so when I see this ace of swords and I see him holding that sword, it makes me think of that, my own force that's inside of me and getting to tap into it right then and there. Having tapped into that feeling, that force that's inside of me that knows that I'm safe no matter what. And then to come back and say, all right, now you know what that force is. You know how to get up off the ground from under the sticks and be alive and be relaxed and be present in that moment. Now be careful with that because that force can take a lot of things away from a lot of people, but it can also heal a lot of people. And that was a really amazing experience for me to have, and to have it come up right here in the cards. Like I wanted to share this, and then like, here's the cards exactly for that. Stick work with 10 swords in your back,
Mhm.
and then the sword, the force that's inside of you.
Mhm.
And yeah. And so I this is like the thing that I was telling Avra here about it. Like I want to share this with the world. I want to figure out how how to help people feel that connected state. And I want to keep practicing with myself. Like I want to feel that force inside of me and feel that aliveness. But I realized all this stick work that I've been practicing, that is the end goal. Can I get someone to to fully connect with their body, to fully be present and alive and also relaxed, knowing that they have the force that's inside of them, have that they are in their own power. And yeah, so that's my thing with all this.
Yay.
Yay.
Yeah, so much good stuff. All these swords, the way we shape the world. The last time
And
we
the way
talked,
the world shapes us, if we let it.
yeah, true that. Because it is a gift. It's the gift and what we do with it.
I think
Um,
these swords can either be, can end up killing us, be dead on the ground, or they can be really empowering. And I think everything, my instructor says this a lot. Everything in life is a stick. Everything in life is a sensation, a pressure that's happening to the system. And it's our choice to say, are we going to allow this to take over us? Or are we going to allow this to empower us and show us something new? And are we going to dance with it? Are we going to play with this pressure that's with us?
mhm. This is your tool for shift shaping. Yeah, that's all I got. I don't know. What else you got?
Yeah, no, I feel like I don't know. I'm so excited about everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
And I really want to help people start connecting to themselves. I want to connect to myself. Like I don't want to lose that feeling anymore.
Hmm.
It's such a cool feeling.
Yeah. We've been gone because there's been a lot going on.
Yeah. We've both been getting hit with sticks and all sorts of weird life stuff going on lately.
I've been
Stabbed in the back with swords.
trying to coordinate times and it seems to not work at the same time for both of us. Like, oh yeah, I forgot I have this, I forgot it. I'm like, oh good, because I needed more rest or whatever, and then trying to
Yeah.
make up for it. Well, now someone's in the hospital, so next time. Yeah, lots of intense stuff. I mean, look at this card. That looks intense. For those who don't aren't watching this, it's a man being stabbed. He's laying on his stomach with his head towards the water, away from us. Um, and it's dark out. Um, he's got 10 swords stabbing him on more than just his chakras, all down his spine.
He's he's dead.
Yeah, he's pretty much dead. Stabbed to death by his own words and thoughts and opinions and beliefs and all that the swords represent, his own
I feel like
tools.
that's a subject that keeps coming up for me too. Is like, and I've experienced this so much in the last year, but these times where like I get triggered by something and the thoughts just just start spinning, and like I can't get out of the thoughts. I can't get out of that. It just snowballs.
Mhm.
And I keep thinking of that snowball, and I've talked about it so many times recently. But like when we get into that thought, that triggering thought that's inside of us, it's like we just keep stabbing ourselves, and our body just keeps tensing up and creating the same chemicals that are creating those thoughts. And then those thoughts create more, and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse, and we get stuck and frozen, and we can't move and we can't do anything. And finding that break is such a huge thing. Like, how do you break that thing inside of you that wants to keep moving, wants to keep building that snowball, except for that snowball, that's the silly thing, is like every time I've gone in there, there's some desire in me to like be in that. But at the same time, it's just destroying me. And so how do you
Mhm.
find that space? And that's why like a lot of my TikTok or my Instagram, my socials is like, hey, dude, you're not breathing. Take a breath, change your chemistry, and give yourself that space. All right, now what do you want to do with it?
Mhm.
Because as soon as you can find that break, and that's a lot of my practices that I've had have been centered around, all right, how do I create that break for myself so that I'm not snowballing anymore?
Yeah. I thought of like, how do you take this, what appears like shadow, and turn it into gold or a gift? Right, for that.
And I think there's so many ways to go about it. Our friend who we
I think
go
you mentioned
with
Taylor
us,
Swift right now.
yeah, Taylor Swift. There we go. But our friend, she just posted a what do you call it? A shadow work play technique, um, where you're just having a conversation with your shadow, and you're identifying your shadow and taking it through these phases of like third person. It's way out there. It's not even a part of us. It's something else is causing this. Second person, so you're communicating back and forth with it. You realize that it's a part of your story now, and you can have some dialogue with the shadow that's taking place, and then bringing it into first person, and you are the shadow, and you're questioning yourself from your shadow's perspective. Um, and then that's kind of the end of it. Is like once you become the shadow, you're supposed to be integrated into it. But I was thinking about that, and I was like, well, cool. I can see that shadow's a part of me, but that doesn't take the fear out of it.
Mhm.
And and so I was really playing with that of how can I take that fear and no longer be afraid of that shadow of what's happening there. And I think that is just experiencing it in real life, experiencing it in our relationships, in the things that are happening, and being willing to take the smallest, tiniest step towards, excuse me,
Bless you.
towards our own freedom from fear. But there's so many different ways to go about those shadows and those swords that stab us in the back and
Mhm.
keep us pinned down to the ground, keep us pinned from doing the thing that we want to do.
Mhm.
But I think, honestly, I think it's just taking it one step at a time, and then finding that relaxation, finding that inner power to know that we're okay no matter what decision we're making.
Yeah. And whatever we're pinned down by could be a good thing. Doesn't necessarily have to be those cutting words, piercing, all that could be good stuff that we've been saying too.
Yeah.
Yep. Anybody else ready for a nap or bedtime?
We've sucked all the energy out. Now go be
Oh,
the shit.
it's just been crazy, wild, and amazing. I'm excited. I don't know about y'all.
I'm stoked.
Susie,
Fired stoked.
fired up.
Gonna take that fan and blow that fire and scatter it everywhere.
That shift is getting everywhere.
Wildfire.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, people. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for being amazing. Thanks for being the
Fun.
shift. Big group hug.
Okay. Mm. Love you, shifties.
Love y'all.
The end. I was hip. I was with it. Tucka, 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 tucka. Let the shift hit the fan. Let the shift hit the fan.